Hi everyone, this is Allison in Wonderland on the Scary Stories in Wonderland. I wanted to thank everyone for listening in and viewing my very first video, so go ahead and if you'd like to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon so when I post a new video, you'll be notified. I also wanted to let you know if you have a story you'd like to send to me and have me read it, my email is in the description. I also have a Patreon account, which is also linked in the description. Just to clarify with the 4 stories I have today, all of these happened in Ohio, 2 of which being on our own property, and all of them came from my family who still currently live on the land. So now, here we go, and I hope everyone enjoys. Story number 1. To start this story off, this is my dad's story, told to me and my brother 22 years after it happened. I am telling this story from what he told us. Back in either late September or early October of 1997, my dad went to work on his parents', now our, current house, because it was being built. He had finished up for the evening and went to another part of the property. Mind you, there are around 60 to 65 acres of land here, so he took a quick walk to the back part of the property to relax for a moment. Also, here's something to remember. It was foggy out, so there was only a certain amount of visibility. While standing on one of the 2 hills, he could see a faint outline of a big cat. A mountain lion, to be exact. The mountain lion was on the other hill, so it did not see him. Dad watched the cat exit the woods, go across the open field, then enter the next patch of woods. Dad told us at this point that he went back to the house, packed up his tools, and left in the truck. He proceeded to tell us that when he came back the next day, there were prints left in the concrete from the basement door to the other side of the basement, up the stairwell, immediately turning right, and then going right out the front door. The concrete mix was still wet, so the mix left paw prints on the stairs and the upstairs floor. Also, here is some information to the story. If you are wondering what state this happened in, it's Ohio, particularly southern Ohio. Mountain lions aren't very common here, but they aren't unheard of. This happened in the few months before my brother was born. I'm a few years older than him. Story number 2. This story was told to me by my brother over the past few years. I've been told it several times. The whole series of events started in 2012. Both of us were still in high school. It was winter, and we just had our first good snow of the year. And there was 3 or 4 inches on the ground. Our great-uncle's brother had just came in from Michigan to go deer hunting. He wanted to set up a feeder and stand, so my brother, Andrew, and our great-uncle's brother, Mike, went to go look for a good place to put the feeder in the stand. Just a little bit of info about Mike and our great-uncle. We aren't related to them by blood. Our great-uncle married into the family, and that's how we met Mike throughout the years. Anyways, Andrew and Mike went out to the hill, both the actual hills in the first story I talked about. And of course, they were on the farther of the 2 hills. While being on the farther of the 2 hills, they found a pair of footprints. The footprints looked like a Native American set of footprints had a pair of moccasins on his or her feet. On top of that, the feet were so far apart from each other that they made it look like my brother was doing lunges. He is also 6'5". The last weird part of the feet are that they would go from 2 feet to 3 feet to 1 foot. The pattern of how many feet was completely random. When Andrew and Mike first found the footprints, they found the original trail of prints in our swampy area, and they were so fresh that they hadn't froze back over yet. The two of them followed the prints for a short distance to our property's only holly tree. Once to the tree, the prints vanished into thin air. Nobody was in the tree. No more prints going around. Just poof. Since then, the prints have shown up 4 more times since 2012. Story number 3. I'll admit, this story isn't very long. This is another story from my brother, and it also includes his friends. One night in 2016, Ander witnessed a strange light beam across the sky. The beam of light was like it came from a lighthouse, except there was no starting source and no ending source, and the light did not move. He called each of his 5 friends to see if they could see it too. Each friend that he called could see the beam of light as well, but the light was going in a different direction for each person. A year or 2 later, his friend JB got on 4chan and either posted about the experience or found a post about it from another group who experienced the same thing in either Arkansas, Mississippi, or Alabama. Story number 4. This is a personal story of my own. I have experienced a lot of weird stuff by myself and along with my brother and his friends. This story happened in 2016. I was driving home one night from work. I worked in Hillsboro, Ohio, and was using Route 50 going east into one of the neighboring counties. I was almost to Bainbridge, Ohio, and was by the water treatment plant right outside of Bainbridge. It was between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. I looked up into the sky and seen an orange ball in the sky. It looked like Jarvis from the Iron Man series, but instead of blue, it was fire orange. To put how high the ball of light was in the sky, there was 50-foot pine trees about 100 yards on the opposite side of the road across from the treatment plant, and the ball of light was another 20 or 30 feet above the trees. But the light spectral was perfectly aligned with the road. While driving, I kept my eyes on it so I could watch for movement. The light never moved from its spot, and I even hunkered down to watch it as I continued getting closer to the anomaly. As I went under the ball, I rolled my car windows down to make sure it wasn't a helicopter, and the light made no noise. Once I made it under the mystery light and past the ball, it was gone. The ball of light just up and vanished. I was completely freaked out about the entire situation. There was no lightning storms within a 100-mile radius of where I was. Back in October of 2019, I told my best friend the story, and he told me that him and his parents experienced the same exact thing when he was a child. Alright guys, that was my very first video, and I would like to thank you for listening in. I know it wasn't a very long video, but if you would like to, I will have my email in the description, and you can send me a thing and tell me about some sort of story you had that was a scary experience, no matter if it was like ghost or scary story or whatever. I will read anything. I don't even care what it is. I do like any kind. My personal favorites or probably having to do with like breaking and entering Home Alone stories and just ghost stories, but I will have a link to the description. I have a Patreon page. Go ahead and hit the like button if you like this video, and leave a comment. Thanks, guys.